In the bustling town of Eldwood, Clara moved with a grace that turned heads. Her emerald eyes and radiant smile captivated James, a kind-hearted baker, when she entered his shop one spring morning. Her laughter filled the air as she sampled his pastries, her charm weaving a spell he couldn't resist. They talked for hours, her stories of distant lands painting vivid pictures in his mind. By dusk, James was smitten, unaware of the secret coiled beneath her flawless exterior. Clara, a Naga disguised as human, had mastered blending into society. Her serpentine nature was hidden, her lower half transforming into legs through ancient magic. She sought love, not conquest, but her kind was feared, hunted. Eldwood seemed perfect a place to start anew. James's warmth drew her in, his sincerity a balm to her guarded heart. Yet, as they parted, a flicker of doubt crossed her mind. Could she keep her true self hidden forever? James courted Clara with fervor, leaving wildflowers at her door and inviting her to town festivals. Their walks along the riverbank grew longer, their conversations deeper. Clara's wit and poise enchanted him, though he noticed her aversion to cold nights and her odd habit of avoiding mirrors. He dismissed these quirks, lost in her allure. Their bond deepened, and soon, whispers of their romance spread through Eldwood. Clara reveled in James's affection, but wrestled with her secret. Each touch, each shared glance, tightened the knot of her deception. She longed to reveal her true form, a shimmering serpent with scales like polished jade, but feared his rejection. Her love was genuine, yet the weight of her hidden nature grew heavier. As James hinted at a future together, Clara's heart raced with both hope and dread. Under a starlit oak, James knelt, a simple ring in hand. His voice trembled as he asked Clara to be his wife. Her heart soared, but fear clawed at her. She said yes, tears glistening, and the town buzzed with joy for the beloved couple. Plans for a grand wedding began, but Clara's thoughts churned. Could she vow eternity while hiding her truth? The engagement brought scrutiny. Eldwood's elders, steeped in folklore, watched Clara closely. Whispers of her peculiarity, sure, aversion to salt, her uncanny grace circulated. Clara sensed their suspicion, but clung to her love for James. She practiced her human guise relentlessly, perfecting every gesture. Yet, at night, alone, her scales shimmered briefly, a reminder of the risk she took for love. Wedding plans consumed Eldwood. Clara helped choose flowers and music, her laughter masking her anxiety. James, oblivious, beamed with pride. The baker's shop flourished as townsfolk ordered sweets for the celebration. Clara's charm won over many, but a few, like old widow Grayson, eyed her warily, muttering about unnatural beauty. Clara's nights were restless, her magic strained under the town's growing curiosity. She confided in no one, her secret a heavy burden. James's love was her anchor, but the wedding loomed like a storm. She dreamed of her true form, slithering free, yet woke in a cold sweat, fearing discovery. Each day, she balanced love and deception, praying her facade would hold until the vows were spoken. James noticed Clara's unease, but attributed it to wedding nerves. He planned to possess a picnic, a dance to ease her. Clara smiled, but her heart ached. She loved James fiercely, yet the thought of revealing her Naga form terrified her. Would he see a monster? She studied his kind eyes, searching for reassurance, finding only trust. The town's whispers grew louder. Widow Grayson's tales of shapeshifters stirred unease. Clara overheard gossip at the market, her pulse quickening. She doubled her efforts to appear human, avoiding anything that might betray her, like the town's sacred spring, rumored to reveal true forms. As the wedding neared, Clara's resolve wavered. Love demanded truth, but truth could destroy everything. Eldwood Spring Festival was a dazzling prelude to the wedding. Clara and James danced under lanterns, their joy infectious. Townsfolk cheered, but Clara felt eyes on her Grayson's, sharp and knowing. A game involving the sacred spring was proposed, and Clara's blood ran cold. She feigned illness, slipping away, her heart pounding. Alone, Clara wrestled with her fear. James deserved truth, but the festival's merriment reminded her of what she could lose. She practiced her magic, ensuring her human form was flawless. Yet, as she rejoined James, his warm embrace felt like a cage. The wedding was days away, and her secret coiled tighter, threatening to unravel everything she cherished. Widow Grayson cornered Clara at the market, her voice low. "I know what you are," she hissed, eyes gleaming with certainty. Clara's heart froze, but she laughed it off, her human mask unshaken. Grayson's words lingered, a warning of danger. Clara knew the old woman's influence could sway the town if she spoke out. That night, Clara confided in her journal, a habit from her wandering days. She wrote of her love for James, her fear of exposure. The Naga magic that hid her form was ancient, reliable, but not infallible. If Grayson rallied the townsfolk, Clara's life with James could crumble. She resolved to stay vigilant, her love for him her only shield against the growing threat. The wedding rehearsal was a blur of laughter and chaos. James's family welcomed Clara warmly, oblivious to her inner turmoil. The church, adorned with lilies, felt suffocating. Clara's eyes darted to the sacred spring nearby, its waters a silent threat. She clung to James's arm, her smile a fragile mask. Afterward, Grayson approached James, whispering of old legends. He laughed, dismissing her, but Clara overheard her stomach twisting. She excused herself, retreating to the forest. There, she let her scales shimmer briefly, a fleeting release. Returning, she found James waiting, his concern evident. "Are you all right?" he asked. Clara nodded, but the lie burned. The wedding was tomorrow, and her secret loomed larger than ever. Clara sat alone in her small cottage, the wedding dress draped across a chair. Moonlight spilled through the window, illuminating her trembling hands. She loved James, but the weight of her deception was crushing. Tomorrow, she'd vow to be his forever, yet her Naga nature could unravel it all. She considered fleeing, but couldn't bear leaving him. James, meanwhile, tossed in his bed, sensing Clara's distance. He chalked it up to nerves, planning a heartfelt speech to ease her fears. In the town, Grayson rallied a few skeptics, her tales of shapeshifters gaining traction. Clara sensed the shift, her instincts screaming, danger. As dawn approached, she steeled herself, determined to face the wedding and whatever came after. The church buzzed with anticipation as Clara walked down the aisle, her white gown trailing like a dream. James's eyes shone with love, anchoring her, yet Grayson's glare from the pews pierced her calm. The sacred spring, visible through a window, seemed to pulse with menace. Clara's heart raced as she reached James, her vows trembling on her lips. The ceremony was flawless, their love palpable. But as they sealed their union with a kiss, Grayson stood, her voice cutting through the joy. "She's not what she seems!" she cried, pointing at Clara. Gasps filled the air. Clara's magic held, but her eyes met James's pleading. The moment stretched, her secret teetering on the edge of exposure. Chaos erupted as Grayson's accusation hung in the air. Townsfolk murmured, some siding with her, others defending Clara. James gripped her hand, his trust unwavering, but his brow furrowed. "Explain," he whispered. Clara's mind raced. She couldn't reveal her truth here, not now. She denied Grayson's claims, her voice steady, her human guise intact. Grayson pressed, citing Clara's quirks, her aversion to cold, her mirrorless home. The elders hesitated, torn between tradition and the couple's love. Clara's heart pounded as she deflected, her charm disarming some doubters. James stood by her, silencing the crowd. But as they left the church, Clara knew the suspicion would linger, threatening their fragile happiness. In their candlelit room, James and Clara sat in silence. He sensed her tension, mistaking it for exhaustion. "We're married now," he said, smiling. "No secrets between us." Clara's throat tightened. She longed to confess, to show her true form, but fear stopped her. Instead, she kissed him, delaying the inevitable. As James slept, Clara stood by the window, her reflection revealing scales beneath her skin. The town's suspicion gnawed at her. Grayson's words had planted seeds of doubt, and Clara knew they'd grow. She slipped into bed, her body human, but her heart heavy. Tomorrow, she'd face the town's scrutiny, but tonight, she clung to the fleeting peace of their love. Dawn broke, and James woke to find Clara staring out the window. Her quiet unease worried him, but he dismissed it, eager to start their life together. Over breakfast, he spoke of a honeymoon by the sea, unaware of Clara's fear of water revealing her form. She nodded, forcing a smile, her mind on Grayson's threat. The town was abuzz with gossip. Grayson's allies watched Clara's every move, searching for proof of her otherness. Clara avoided the sacred spring, sticking to crowded streets where her charm could deflect suspicion. But as she and James walked hand in hand, a child pointed at her shadow, claiming it slithered. Clara laughed it off, but her heart sank. Grayson rallied a small group, determined to expose Clara. They pored over old texts, seeking signs of shapeshifters. Clara, aware of their efforts, doubled her caution. She avoided reflective surfaces and kept her movements fluid but human. James noticed her strain but attributed it to the town's gossip, vowing to protect her. At a town meeting, Grayson presented her case, citing Clara's quirks as evidence. The elders, skeptical but curious, agreed to observe her. Clara's heart raced as she faced their scrutiny. She leaned on James's support, her love for him, her only constant. Yet, as the meeting ended, she knew the truth was a heartbeat away from unraveling. The elders proposed a test. Clara must touch the sacred spring's water, said to reveal true forms. Panic surged, but she couldn't refuse without confirming suspicion. James protested, calling it superstition, but the town insisted. Clara agreed, her mind racing for a way to maintain her guise under the spring's power. That night, she practiced her magic, strengthening her human form. She studied the spring's lore, searching for loopholes. James, sensing her fear, held her close, promising to stand by her. Clara clung to his words, but as the test loomed, she felt her secret slipping. The spring could expose her, shattering the life she'd built with James. The town gathered at the sacred spring, its waters shimmering under the sun. Clara stood before it, James at her side, his trust her only shield. Grayson smirked, certain of victory. Clara dipped her hand into the water, her magic straining to hold her human form. The crowd held its breath, waiting for a sign. Nothing happened. Clara's preparation had worked her guise held. The elders, satisfied, dismissed Grayson's claims. James beamed, pulling Clara close. But as they walked away, Grayson's eyes narrowed. She'd seen a flicker in the water, a hint of scales. Clara knew the old woman wouldn't stop, and her secret remained a fragile thread in their new life. Relief washed over Clara as the town's suspicion waned. James, elated, planned a quiet evening to celebrate. They danced in their cottage, his laughter easing her fears. Yet, Grayson's lingering gaze haunted her. Clara knew the old woman's silence was temporary, a calm before a greater storm. That night, Clara dreamed of her Naga form, free and powerful, but woke to James's gentle touch. His love grounded her, but the weight of her secret grew heavier. She resolved to protect their life, even if it meant confronting Grayson. As dawn broke, Clara steeled herself, knowing the battle for her truth and her love was far from over. Clara sought Grayson out, finding her at the edge of town. "Why do you hate me?" she asked, her voice calm but firm. Grayson's eyes gleamed with zeal. "You're not human," she spat. "I protect this town." Clara denied nothing, her silence a shield. She left, vowing to outwit the old woman. James noticed Clara's distraction, but didn't press. He trusted her, a fact that both warmed and pained her. Clara strengthened her magic, ensuring no slip could betray her. But Grayson's allies grew bolder, trailing her through Eldwood. Clara felt the noose tightening, her love for James, her only reason to fight on. Clara found an unexpected ally in Lila, James's sister. Lila, sharp and curious, had overheard Grayson's rants and dismissed them as folly. She approached Clara, offering friendship. "I see how you love him," Lila said. "That's enough for me." Clara's heart lifted, but she couldn't confide her truth. Not yet. Lila's support eased Clara's burden. They spent days together, planning a town fair to shift focus from the gossip. James joined in, his pride in Clara evident. But Grayson's shadow lingered, her whispers poisoning more minds. Clara knew her time was running out. She needed a plan to silence the old woman for good. The town fair was a burst of color and music. Clara and James manned a booth, their laughter drawing crowds. Lila kept Grayson at bay, distracting her with tasks. For a moment, Clara felt free, her love for James shining through. But as night fell, Grayson slipped away, her absence ominous. Clara's instincts flared. She excused herself, searching the fairgrounds. She found Grayson near the sacred spring, chanting softly, a vial of water in hand. Clara's heart raced. Grayson meant to test her again, publicly. She confronted the old woman, her voice low. "Stop this, or you'll regret it." Grayson smirked, undeterred, and Clara knew the real battle was coming. Clara devised a plan to discredit Grayson. She'd stage a public act of kindness, proving her humanity beyond doubt. With Lila's help, she organized a charity drive for the town's poor, her warmth winning over skeptics. James beamed, unaware of her strategy. The town praised Clara, but Grayson's silence was unsettling. At night, Clara studied her magic, seeking ways to counter the spring's power permanently. She found an ancient Naga spell, risky but potent, that could bind her human form indefinitely. It required great strength, and failure could expose her. As James slept, Clara weighed her love against the cost, knowing Grayson's next move could force her hand. Grayson struck at the charity event. She spilled sacred water on Clara's dress, expecting a transformation. Clara's magic held, but the crowd gasped, sensing drama. She laughed it off, claiming clumsiness, and James rushed to her side. The elders, tired of Grayson's antics, scolded her, but her resolve didn't waver. Clara's heart pounded as she cleaned up, her guise intact but her nerves frayed. Lila whispered support, promising to watch Grayson. James, oblivious to the stakes, held Clara close, his trust unwavering. She clung to him, but Grayson's vial haunted her. The old woman was relentless, and Clara knew she'd need to act soon to protect her life with James. Alone with James, Clara's resolve cracked. "I need to tell you something," she began, her voice shaking. She spoke of her love, her fear, but stopped short of revealing her Naga form. James listened, his eyes soft. "Whatever it is, I love you," he said. His words broke her, but she couldn't confess not yet. Grayson's allies grew bolder, spreading rumors of dark magic. Clara felt the town's trust slipping. She confided in Lila, hinting at her secret without details. Lila, loyal, vowed to help. Clara's heart ached. She wanted to trust James fully, but fear held her back. As night fell, she prepared for the spell that could save or doom her. In the forest, Clara performed the Naga spell under moonlight. Her scales shimmered as she chanted, binding her human form. The magic burned, draining her, but it worked. Her guise felt stronger. She returned home, exhausted but hopeful. James, asleep, didn't see her glow, a faint echo of her true self. Grayson's whispers continued, but the spell gave Clara confidence. She joined James at the bakery, her charm disarming doubters. Lila kept Grayson distracted, but Clara knew the old woman suspected her success. The spell was a shield, but not a solution. Clara needed to confront Grayson directly, or her secret would never be safe. Clara faced Grayson at the town's edge, her voice steady. "End this, or I will." Grayson laughed, brandishing another vial. "The spring will show your truth." Clara stood firm, her spell holding. The confrontation drew a crowd, and James arrived, confused but supportive. Grayson threw the water, but Clara remained human, stunning all. The elders, fed up, banished Grayson from public gatherings. Clara's heart soared, but she saw doubt in James's eyes. He'd heard too much, seen too much. That night, he asked, "Is there something you're not telling me?" Clara's throat closed. She nodded, promising truth soon, but the weight of her secret grew unbearable. Clara led James to the forest, her heart pounding. "I'm not human," she whispered, letting her scales shimmer briefly. James gasped, stepping back, but didn't run. "You're a snake?" he stammered. She explained her Naga heritage, her love, her fear. His silence cut deeper than any blade. He reached for her hand, trembling. "I love you, but it's a lot." Clara nodded, tears falling. She gave him time, returning home alone. The town, unaware, celebrated the couple, but Clara felt the rift. Grayson's defeat hadn't solved everything. James's trust was shaken, and her heart hung in the balance. James grew quiet, processing Clara's truth. He still held her hand, but his eyes searched hers, seeking the woman he knew. Clara gave him space, her heart aching. She busied herself with the bakery, her human guise flawless but her spirit heavy. The town, oblivious, adored their golden couple. Grayson, silenced but not gone, watched from afar. Clara sensed her plotting, but James was her focus. She wrote him a letter, pouring out her love, her fear of losing him. He read it silently, his face unreadable. "I need time," he said. Clara nodded, but each day apart felt like a step toward losing him. James sought Clara after a week, his eyes tired but warm. "I love you," he said. "I don't understand it all, but I want to." They talked for hours, Clara explaining her Naga life, her magic. James listened, his fear easing. He kissed her, a promise to try, and Clara's heart lifted. The town remained unaware, but Grayson's allies stirred. Clara and James worked together, their bond strengthening. Lila, now privy to Clara's secret, became their confidant. Clara felt hope, but Grayson's shadow loomed. She knew the old woman wouldn't rest until her truth was exposed to all. Grayson found an old text claiming a ritual could force a shapeshifter's true form. She gathered her allies in secret, planning to disrupt the town's harvest festival. Clara, tipped off by Lila, prepared to counter the ritual. Her spell held, but the risk was greater. Now failure could expose her to everyone. James stood by her, his trust growing. They planned to attend the festival, presenting a united front. Clara's heart swelled with his support, but fear lingered. Grayson's ritual could undo her magic, and the town's love could turn to hate. As the festival neared, Clara braced for the fight of her life. The harvest festival was vibrant, but tension simmered. Grayson's allies chanted near the sacred spring, their ritual beginning. Clara, with James and Lila, mingled with the crowd, her senses sharp. When Grayson stepped forward, vial in hand, Clara was ready. She deflected the water, her magic holding firm. The crowd, confused, saw Grayson's act as madness. The elders banished her from Eldwood, her influence shattered. James squeezed Clara's hand, proud but shaken. She smiled, but the ritual's power had weakened her spell. She needed to reinforce it soon, or her Naga form might surface, risking everything she'd fought for. With Grayson gone, Eldwood calmed, but Clara's magic wavered. She retreated to the forest, reinforcing her spell under moonlight. James joined her, unafraid of her scales now. "You're still you!" he said, his acceptance a balm. Clara's heart soared, but she knew her magic wasn't infinite. Sustaining it would cost her. The town celebrated the couple, unaware of the battle fought. Lila kept their secret, her loyalty unwavering. Clara felt safe, but the strain of her spell lingered. She confided in James, who vowed to protect her no matter what. Their love was stronger, but Clara feared the day her magic might fail her. Clara and James settled into married life, their bond deeper for their trials. The bakery thrived, and Clara's charm kept the town enamored. She maintained her spell, but each casting drained her more. James noticed her fatigue, urging her to rest, unaware of the magical toll she paid. Lila became Clara's confidant, helping her navigate Eldwood's social web. The town forgot Grayson's rants, but Clara remained vigilant. She studied Naga lore, seeking a permanent solution to her guise. Her love for James drove her, but the cost of her secret grew, threatening the peace they'd fought so hard to build. Clara found an ancient Naga text in a hidden grove, detailing a ritual to fully merge her forms. It could make her human permanently, but it risked her life. She hesitated, torn between love and survival. James sensed her turmoil, pressing for answers. She shared the text, her voice trembling. He held her, vowing to face the risk together. Lila, ever loyal, offered to guard their secret during the ritual. Clara's heart race success meant freedom, failure meant death or exposure. As they planned, the town remained blissfully unaware, their love for Clara and James a shield against lingering doubts. Clara, James, and Lila prepared for the ritual in secret. The grove, hidden deep in the forest, pulsed with ancient magic. Clara studied the text, memorizing chants and gathering rare herbs. James built a protective circle, his hands steady despite his fear. Lila kept watch, ensuring no one followed. The ritual's danger loomed. Clara's spell weakened daily, her scales flickering at odd moments. She hid it from James, but he saw her strain. "We'll do this together," he said, his love her anchor. As the full moon approached, Clara felt both hope and dread the ritual could free her or end everything. Under the full moon, Clara began the ritual. Her voice echoed through the grove as she chanted, her body glowing. James held her hand, his presence grounding her. Lila stood guard, her eyes scanning the dark. The magic surged, pain searing through Clara as her forms battled within. The ritual faltered, her scales flashing uncontrollably. James's grip tightened, his voice urging her on. With a final chant, Clara collapsed, her body human but weak. The ritual had worked, she was fully human, her Naga form gone. James carried her home, tears of relief in his eyes, but Clara felt a strange loss. Clara woke, her body lighter, her scales gone forever. She was human, truly, but the cost lingered a faint ache where her magic once lived. James's joy was palpable, his kisses erasing her doubts. Lila celebrated, their secret now unnecessary. Eldwood saw only their golden couple, unaware of the sacrifice. Yet, Clara struggled. Her Naga instincture strength, her grace were muted. She adapted, leaning on James's love, but mourned her lost self. The town's adoration grew, but Clara felt like an imposter. She confided in Lila, who urged her to embrace her new life. Clara tried, but the echo of her scales haunted her. Clara threw herself into the bakery, her human hands clumsy where her Naga grace once shone. James noticed her frustration, but praised her efforts, his love unwavering. The town, oblivious, showered them with praise, their story a local legend. Clara smiled, but her heart wrestled with her new reality. Lila became her anchor, sharing stories of her own struggles to ease Clara's. Slowly, Clara found joy in her human life baking with James, laughing with Lila. But at night, she dreamed of slithering through forests, her Naga soul calling. She hid her grief, determined to be the wife James deserved, but the loss lingered. A stranger arrived in Eldwood, claiming to be a Naga hunter. His questions about Clara stirred old fears. She kept her human guise flawless, but his piercing gaze unnerved her. James, protective, dismissed the man, but Clara sensed danger. Her ritual had made her human, but her past wasn't buried. Lila spied on the hunter, learning he sought a Naga who'd fled years ago. She warned her, and Clara's heart raced. She couldn't revert to her Naga form, but the hunter's presence threatened her new life. With James and Lila, she planned to confront him, determined to protect the love she'd sacrificed so much for. The hunter, Marcus, was relentless, questioning townsfolk about Clara's past. She played the perfect wife, deflecting his probes with charm. James grew wary, sensing her fear. Lila uncovered Marcus's journal, detailing Naga traits many matching Clara's old quirks. They needed to act before he pieced it together. Clara met Marcus in the town square, her human form unshaken. "I'm just a baker's wife," she said, her eyes steady. Marcus doubted, but had no proof. James stood by her, his presence a shield. As Marcus left, vowing to return, Clara knew her peace was temporary. Her human life was hers, but at what cost? Clara, James, and Lila planned to discredit Marcus. They spread rumors of his obsession, painting him as unhinged. The town, loyal to Clara, shunned him. Marcus left, but his parting words chilled her. "I'll find you, snake." Clara's heart sank, but James's embrace steadied her. She confided in James about her Naga past, her fears of losing him. He vowed to protect her, human or not. Lila's loyalty strengthened their resolve. Clara embraced her human life, baking, laughing, loving. But Marcus's threat lingered, a shadow on her happiness. She'd fought for this life, she'd fight again. Months passed without Marcus. Eldwood thrived, the bakery a hub of joy. Clara adapted to her human limits, finding new strengths. James's love grew deeper, their bond unbreakable. Lila, now family, shared their laughter. Clara felt whole, but the hunter's shadow never fully faded. She studied her Naga text, seeking defensive spells despite her human form. None worked, but the act grounded her. James noticed her late-night reading, offering silent support. The town, unaware of her past, celebrated their couple. Clara cherished the peace, but her instincts warned her. Marcus would return, and she needed to be ready. A letter arrived, unsigned, warning of Marcus's return. Clara's heart raced. Someone knew her past. She shared it with James and Lila, who urged caution. They tightened their circle, watching for strangers. Clara's human life felt fragile. Her Naga strength, a distant memory she longed for. The town remained oblivious, but Clara sensed eyes on her. She doubled her efforts at the bakery, her charm a shield. James, protective, kept her close. Lila scouted for Marcus, finding no trace. Clara clung to her new life, but the letter's words echoed, "He knows what you were." The fight wasn't over. Marcus reappeared at the town's winter festival, his eyes locked on Clara. She stood firm, her human guise perfect. James, sensing danger, stayed close. Lila distracted Marcus, but his questions grew pointed. "You've changed," he said, smirking. Clara's heart pounded, but she denied everything. The town, loyal, dismissed Marcus as a troublemaker. He left, but Clara knew he'd be back. She confided in James, admitting her fear. He held her, promising to face any threat together. Lila vowed to uncover Marcus's plans. Clara's human life was hers, but the hunter's shadow threatened to unravel it all. Clara, James, and Lila devised a trap. They'd lure Marcus to the grove, proving Clara's humanity beyond doubt. Lila spread rumors of a secret meeting, baiting him. Clara prepared, her heart heavy. She'd sacrificed her Naga form, but Marcus's obsession could still destroy her. James strengthened their home, his love fierce. Lila gathered evidence of Marcus's instability, ready to sway the town. As the trap neared, Clara felt both fear and resolve. She'd fought for this life, for James's love. Marcus was a threat, but she was no longer the fleeing Nagashi, was Clara, and she'd win. In the grove, Clara faced Marcus alone, James and Lila hidden nearby. "I'm human," she said, her voice steady. Marcus laughed, tossing sacred water. Nothing happened. Clara's ritual had sealed her form. The town, watching from the shadows, saw his failure. Marcus's credibility crumbled. James emerged, his arm around Clara. Lila presented Marcus's journal, exposing his obsession. The elders banished him, and Eldwood cheered their couple. Clara's heart soared, but Marcus's final glare chilled her. He was gone, but his knowledge of her past lingered, a faint threat to her hard-won peace. With Marcus gone, Clara and James celebrated. The bakery buzzed, the town's love unwavering. Lila, their rock, shared their joy. Clara felt free, her human life secure. She baked with James, laughed with Lila, and let go of her Naga past, embracing the woman she'd become. Yet, a small part of her mourned her scales, her strength. She confided in James, who listened, his love unshaken. "You're enough," he said. Clara believed him, her heart full. The town's trust, James's love, Lila's loyalty, they were her home. For now, the hunter's shadow was gone, and Clara was whole. Clara and James planned a trip, a belated honeymoon to seal their victory. The town gifted them funds, their love, a local legend. Lila joined, eager for adventure. Clara, fully human, felt lighter, her past a story she could finally leave behind. The road ahead beckoned. As they packed, Clara found her old Naga text. She hesitated, then burned it. The ashes a final farewell. James held her, sensing her closure. Lila smiled, proud of her friend. Eldwood waved them off, their golden couple. Clara knew challenges might come, but with James and Lila, she was ready. Their trip took them to coastal villages, far from Eldwood's whispers. Clara, free of her Naga form, marveled at the sea, no longer fearing its truth-revealing waves. James's laughter warmed her. Lila's wit kept them grounded. For the first time, Clara felt truly human, unburdened. Yet, she caught glimpses of figures watching Marcus's allies. Perhaps, she said nothing, not wanting to worry James. Lila noticed too, her eyes sharp. They enjoyed their journey, but Clara's instincts stayed alert. Her love for James was her strength, but the past had a way of lingering, even for a human. In a coastal town, a woman approached Clara, her eyes knowing. "You were Naga," she whispered, a fellow shapeshifter. Clara froze, but the woman smiled. "Your secret's safe. Live your life." She vanished, leaving Clara shaken but relieved. James, unaware, held her close. Lila, sensing the exchange, pressed Clara later. She confessed, and Lila vowed to protect her. The encounter reminded Clara her past wasn't fully buried, but her human life was hers. She clung to James, their love, her anchor. The journey continued, but Clara knew her Naga roots might always follow. Returning to Eldwood, Clara felt stronger. The town welcomed them, the bakery thriving. Lila settled nearby, her bond with Clara unbreakable. Clara embraced her human life, her love for James deeper than ever. The coastal woman's words echoed "live your life." Clara intended to. No sign of Marcus or his allies surfaced, but Clara stayed vigilant. She baked, laughed, loved, her human heart full. James noticed her ease, his pride evident. Lila kept watch, their trio a fortress. Clara's Naga past was a shadow, but her human present was bright, and she'd fight to keep it. A year after their wedding, Clara and James celebrated. The town threw a feast, their love a beacon. Clara, fully human, danced with James, her heart light. Lila toasted their strength, her loyalty unwavering. The absence of threats felt like a gift, but Clara's instincts never fully slept. She confided in James about the coastal woman, her last tie to her Naga past. He listened, his love steady. "You're my Clara," he said. She believed him, her human life complete. But as they danced, a distant figure watched Marcus, or a ghost of her fears. Clara held James tighter, ready for anything. The figure was no ghost. Marcus had returned, quieter, craftier. He spread subtle rumors, avoiding banishment. Clara sensed his presence, her human instincts sharp. She told James and Lila, who rallied to protect her. The town, still loyal, dismissed the whispers, but Clara felt the threat. She trained her mind, strengthening her human resolve. James fortified their home. Lila scouted for Marcus's moves. Clara refused to let fear rule her. Her love for James, her life in Eldwood, was worth defending. Marcus was a shadow, but Clara was light, and she'd outshine him. Clara devised a final trap. She'd confront Marcus publicly, exposing his obsession once and for all. With James and Lila, she planned a town meeting, inviting all to hear her story not as a Naga, but as a woman wronged by lies. The elders agreed, eager to end the drama. Marcus took the bait, attending with his allies. Clara stood tall, her voice clear. She spoke of love, trust, and Eldwood's strength, subtly dismantling Marcus's claims. James backed her. Lila presented proof of his instability. The town rallied, and Clara felt her human heart soar. She was home. Marcus tried to interrupt, accusing Clara of deceit. She faced him, her human guise unshaken. "I'm Clara, James's wife," she said, her voice ringing. The town cheered, drowning Marcus out. His allies faltered, his credibility gone. The elders exiled him, this time for good. Clara trembled as James held her, the victory bittersweet. Lila hugged them both, her pride evident. Eldwood embraced their couple, the hunter a fading memory. Clara knew her Naga past was buried, but its lessons lingered. Love demanded courage, and she'd proven hers. With Marcus gone, Eldwood settled into harmony. Clara and James thrived, their bakery a hub of joy. Lila, now a partner, brought laughter daily. Clara's human life felt complete. Her Naga past a distant echo. She baked, loved, lived, her heart full. Yet, she kept a small charma scale from her old form as a reminder of her journey. James knew his acceptance total. Lila guarded their peace, her loyalty fierce. Clara looked at her life, built on love and sacrifice, and knew she'd chosen right. The town was hers, and she was theirs. Clara and James expanded the bakery, adding new recipes inspired by her travels. The town flocked to taste them, their love for the couple unwavering. Lila took on more, her energy boundless. Clara felt her human limits, but embraced them, her life richer for it. At night, she and James talked of children, a future once unthinkable. Her Naga past felt like a story, not a burden. Lila teased them, her joy infectious. Clara looked at her family James, Lila, Eldwood, and knew she'd found her place. The hunter was gone, and her heart was home. Years later, Clara and James had a daughter, Lily, whose eyes echoed Clara's emerald gaze. The town adored her, unaware of her mother's past. Clara taught her love, courage, and kindness, values forged in her trials. James beamed, his pride endless. Lila, her aunt, spoiled her rot. Clara kept her scale hidden, a private reminder. She told Lily stories of adventure, never mentioning Nagas. Her human life was enough, her love for her family boundless. Eldwood thrived, their bakery its heart. Clara's past was a shadow, but her legacy was light, shining through her daughter. Clara, now older, reflected on her journey. She'd been a Naga, a fugitive, a bride, a mother. Each step had shaped her, her love for James the constant. Lily grew, curious like her father, kind like her mother. Lila remained their rock, her laughter a gift. The town knew Clara as their own, her past buried. She visited the grove, now overgrown, and smiled. Her scale, tucked away, was enough. James joined her, his hand warm. "We did good," he said. Clara nodded, her human heart full. The Naga was gone, but Clara was forever. Eldwood threw a festival for Clara and James's 20th anniversary. Lily danced, her joy infectious. Lila led the planning, her energy undimmed. The town toasted their couple, their love a legend. Clara, fully human, felt no trace of her Naga past, only gratitude for her life. She spoke, thanking Eldwood, her voice steady. James held her, Lily cheered, Lila winked. The sacred spring, once a threat, sparkled innocently. Clara knew no hunter could touch her now. Her life, built on love and courage, was unshakable. She was Clara, and she was home. Clara and James grew old, their love unwavering. Lily took over the bakery, her spirit bright. Lila, gray but spry, remained their confidant. Eldwood cherished them, their story a myth of love's triumph. Clara's scale, now a relic, stayed hidden, her secret safe. At night, Clara and James sat by the fire, hands entwined. "I'd choose you again," she whispered, her human heart full. He smiled, his eyes her home. Their life, forged through trials, was complete. Clara, once a Naga, was now just Clara-loved, human, eternal.